Greetings and welcome inside the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon live from the TireRack.com studios. Not how we expected to return from vacation at all. Not anything we expected to cover. But this is where we are at, and this is where things begin and stand right now after what happened tonight during the Bills and the Bengals. Damar Hamlin, Bills safety, who's been starting for most of the season after Micah Hyde got injured. Right now, according to Steve DeSague, you heard him give the update. He's being intubated and is in critical condition after collapsing after making a tackle in the first half of the game tonight. If you've seen the video, it is shocking. It is jarring. He makes the play. He gets a little bit of blunt trauma to his chest. And look, we don't want to say exactly what it is, but I can describe the play. He gets some blunt trauma to his chest and his upper torso area. He makes the tackle. He gets up pretty fast and then suddenly takes a step and falls backward and collapses. We've seen this before in the NFL. We've seen things happen. We always cross our fingers and hope, okay, well, we're going to get good news. We're going to see him move a hand where he's going to wave. He's going to give a thumbs up. And while ESPN then went in and out of commercial breaks, because obviously we're dealing with something much more human and much more important than the football game, we find out that Hamlin was given CPR on the field and potentially have been brought back to life after what happened, was then brought off the field in an ambulance. He was given oxygen. There were reports he could not breathe on his own, and he was taken away to an area hospital. The game was suspended after it happened. And while we are awaiting word on Hamlin, it looks like the game has been suspended for the night. There was a long conversation. Both teams had gone to their locker rooms. There was conversations with Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor about what they should do. And it looks like now the Bills have been packing up their equipment and gear on the field. They are leaving, and we're not going to have any more football tonight. Now, the first thing for this, Mike, is that you can't not think of Hamlin and hoping for him. Maybe people who didn't even know who he was until tonight. And I got to say, I knew him a little bit because he played at Pitt for 4 years, and Pittsburgh played Syracuse every year. And he was a terrific defensive player. He made a lot of big plays, and here he was, a 6th-round pick, and he was starting. So I only knew a little bit of him, and that's only because of that. But you can't not think of him and what happened tonight, and everybody just sending all their vibes and karma to him and his family. They got his mom from the stands, I think, to go in the hospital with them. So I guess that was. I mean, you're trying to figure out some kind of good news along the way, but the fact they held the ambulance for her, I guess that's somewhat good. I mean, I don't know. Clearly everything is happening very fast, but we can only tell you what's gone on. But I'm really surprised that right after this happened, the Bills didn't just say, and Sean McDermott didn't come out and say, you know what, we're leaving. If you're telling us we're forfeiting, then we're forfeiting this game, but we're all going to the hospital. You saw the reactions of the players on the field. They were crying. They were beyond being consoled about what went on the field. I really thought the Bills, we're just leaving. And if you make us forfeit, then you make us forfeit and we'll figure it out. But I really thought they would just say, you know what, we're gone. We're going to the hospital. We're figuring it out. We're not coming back out to play a football game.
Yeah, I mean, the timeline of this, it took a full hour plus for a decision to be handed down. We've seen the bylaws, our executive producer, Justin Frostberg, sending it along the part about emergency situations and the league's powers therein. Obviously, they want to get things to a conclusion, and I know there's all sorts of considerations, playoffs, and the AFC fantasy gambling, all that, like everybody's coming at it from a million different angles. In the end, this is a human moment, right, that you pull back, and it took a half hour, Joe Buck relayed on the telecast before the ambulance left the stadium. The defibrillator, it's a difficult word, spells odd, but that had to be applied according to reports. Like all of these things that add up, and you saw the players immediately hugging, crying, just despondent on the field. And the coaches were initially told, hey, you'll resume in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes. That was the rule, and that was the word that was being handed down. And you could see McDermott as he was being told. You could see Taylor's face. And to a man, trying to think in the moment, right? there's no way you're going to be able to play this football game. And even if you gave it an hour, give it 2 hours, whatever the case may be, this is their guy, right? This is their teammate. Now, we pay attention to it because we're breaking down teams and depth charts as we do our work here on the radio. Me for the Sunday mornings, with Bucky doing the game previews, that you get a little deeper in depth charts and missing pieces of secondary. So paying attention to his play a bit more, but it's just a serious, like people were trying to push it up. Well, it's, it's a guy in the secondary. They can still play. It's like, no, this is so much bigger than a football game. And the fact that it took the NFL an hour plus to make a decision is unconscionable.
Here's the thing, and this is, look, this is the story, right? We're staying with the story for 4 hours tonight, right? This is what we do. We're a news organization, and this is what we're supposed to do, and we're staying on this because this is how it's supposed to be done. It's what I am seeing now, and it's because there's a lot of things to talk about this. Of course, we'll continue to give you updates on Damar Hamlin as we get them. You're seeing a lot of big decisions that are made by people that really aren't equipped to make these big kind of decisions. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, sure.
There's certain time. Look, the NFL is a business, right? Obviously, it's a big business. Roger Goodell, the commissioner, everything else. When it comes to human things like postponing games and this and that, that's not something big business really does well. It's this is where there needs to be some kind of protocol that allows and takes that decision out of their hands. Because when you get to the point of, should we keep playing? Should we not? What do we do? I don't know. The information flow, I have to call Goodell. Goodell's talking to somebody else. He's talking to a lawyer. A lawyer is talking to another lawyer. We're looking at the bylaws of the NFL. Well, wait, the Bills are saying this. The Bengals are saying this. You're having people make decisions on things that this is not what they do. Even seeing the coverage of this, like on social media already, as we're trying to keep up with everything going on.
Some of the worst of humanity.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. And personally, I want to say, listen, stay away. Don't get fired for saying something stupid on Twitter, but that's going to happen. Is like I've already seen some certain types of criticism. Like Adam Schefter said, I've never seen an ambulance on the field, right? Which is like, okay, we've seen ambulances on the field so far, but and he's getting just brutalized on Twitter for it. Like he's just trying to react to something that is not in his wheelhouse.
Well, but it's also different circumstances, right?
Yeah.
We've sseen ambulances for many different situations going back to when we were kids watching the NFL. I would give him, a little bit of the, people need to be kind, the reacting in the moment, and I think kind of talking about it in this circumstance, right, where we're immediately getting word about the AED, about CPR, all of those things, and maybe, as he's speaking extemporaneously, because, you watch them in the studio, they kept going back, and it's like, we don't have any update. So what, it's that emotion that comes over, because, look, it's all friends, colleagues, right? It's a big fraternity. And as much as folks can use that in the pejorative, it's true, though. It's a relationship business like anything else, right? So the extension of that, and it's weighing on you, so maybe you're not choosing your words properly. So if that's the thing you're going to savage a guy on, you need to look in a mirror. In theory, you just made a bunch of resolutions.
Yeah,
be a better human.
There's people who are going over the top with things and looking for takes and everything, and that's different. When someone like Adam Schefter's on the air, I've never seen it before. Are you kidding? We've seen it here before. We see this.
Yeah,
okay, I understand that. I understand that. But he's trying to talk, and he's trying to give you his honest reaction about things. There's a difference between that and, hey, I'm looking to try to capitalize with takes on this.
Right.
But just understand that not everybody is made for this. And when you're now watching a lot of sports coverage of an event that is a news event, that suddenly now is, yes, it's about sports because Damar Hamlin's a football player, but now this is about what's next. Like I want the coverage to be, hey, let's get more updates from the hospital. Let's find out what's going on. Officially, again, he's listed in critical condition per a statement from the league. This is a story. This is what we are after now, what we are chasing. And not everybody is made to do this. It's not, it's one thing to turn on CNN or Fox News or something when something big is going on in the world, right? Because hey, this is their wheelhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
The political pundits and the experts, they get paid. They can go on and do 4-hour shows on a decision by the Supreme Court or something with with an election. This is what they do. They freelance and talk. That's what they do for 4 or 5 hours because that's their wheelhouse. Right? Now think about this. We go on the air, we talk for 4 hours a night. People talk for 4 hours a night on things, and during the day, shows are long. Why? Because sports is our wheelhouse, right? It's what it is. Sports is the wheelhouse of why we can go on and talk about sports. Well, you and I can talk about sports for 4 hours a night now, almost going on our 10th year in a few days. So it's that way. But now that things have changed a little bit, it's going to be different. And the coverage of this is going to be a little bit different than you think because you now have a weird, I don't want to say a story that it bisects both sports and humanity, but you're talking about now you're going to watch sports people try to cover a medical story, and now you're going to try to watch news people cover a sports and medical story, and it's going to be a little bit sloppy. It's not going to be exactly what it should be because most people are just trying to do their best and they're trying to figure it out. But as you see, not everybody is made for it. There's going to be mistakes made on things, and it's a very tense time right now, and I understand this. But I'm just seeing how the reaction is coming in already is a big thing. Like for instance, when I first saw I'm trying to keep up on social media, and mainly I'm looking for an update on Damar Hamlin. I'm looking to see what we found out, and I get a couple of things along the way, right?
A couple of beat writers there in Cincinnati that had pretty time. They were keeping up pretty
exactly,
quickly.
right?
Yeah.
It was he was breathing, but not on his own. Okay,
right.
And then everything people are, you have to cancel a game. You cancel a game. Of course, you have to cancel a game. I mean, where did that become the most important part? Is I want you to cancel the game. Okay, they got to it. They canceled the game. Was okay. It took a little bit long. In the end, the right decision was made. But the story is about him,
right.
and hopefully this guy lives. Hopefully he lives. I mean, I spent the last few minutes going through like what his life was like, and I can't wait to tell you some of the stuff that he's talked about his life before, before he got to the NFL, and like that's the story. But it's like, well, they got to cancel the game. Like, where did that become the most important thing? I mean, I get it. You don't want to play because it's a bad look, and it's an awful thing, and no one can. The Bills can't play, the Bengals can't play. It's a different situation. But like how he is, that's got to be there. There's got to be. We have to have people at the hospitals, and ESPN's got to be doing live shots from the hospital, and Fox has to be at the hospital. And what are we getting in interviews and hearing updates? I mean, that's where the story is.
Yeah, it's that business side and the machine that is the multi-billion-dollar NFL Teflon. Right? Because, I mean, look at all of these stories you and I have covered since we've been on air together. NFL keeps going on, right? Little blip here and there that ratings for everything get changed and all, and people wanted the doom of the NFL. It kept going. This one, again, it cuts through on the news side, and you'll have a lot of reports. And I've seen a lot of reporters immediately were getting notices from PRs of all of the, NFL doctors, right? The Twitter diagnosis. This isn't an ankle injury. We don't need rampant speculation on this, but certainly for a lot of folks, it's just beyond the humanity of it. Is just cancel the game for the sake of the players, right? I think that's the unspoken part. So again, give it a little grace to folks in the moment about look. There's always people that are mad at Roger Goodell, right? It's always easy to get upset at Roger Goodell. I was surprised it took an hour. I will say that, and I did as we got things started. But you're trying to assess, everything, and you're getting information from the hospital. You're talking to the coaches, and it's an emotionally charged situation on a million levels, a full crowd. It's a standalone, like all of those things that come in, and there's the business of it that Roger Goodell has to ponder. And we can all say, hey, push it aside. But he's also got the human side is one part, and then there's also the business of the NFL and trying to assess what are the best practices, right? Because you might be trying to figure out how you're moving forward in terms of if this game when it gets rescheduled. Is it tomorrow? Is it Wednesday? Or whatever. I mean, that might be part of the larger conversation that delayed delayed an answer from the league in terms of officially postponing it tonight. But I understand there's just all of this wrapped up. But just the faces of the Bills and Bengals players, coaches in those immediate moments after Hamlin's injury, it's truly I don't know. I watched it and I played it back, and your heart just sinks. Right in that moment, you see all the people in the stands making signs and hugging each other and crying, realizing the severity of it all. So it is truly one of those moments that pauses what is normally a 100-mile-an-hour freight train that is the NFL.
And the thing is when we've seen injuries like this that are this serious in the past, you see the play and you can see what happens. You can see when someone hits their head a certain way. You can see when their neck turns or so. You can see it and you go, oh my goodness. This looked like it was just a rough tackle. Like he got a little bit of a helmet in the chest and he rode him down and he got up.
He fell and hit his head.
Yeah,
on the turf there.
I mean,
trying to dissect it.
But he also looked like it kind of broke his fall a little. Like he didn't just fall straight back. He kind of fell back where he might have fell on his butt a little bit first. That would have stopped that a little bit. But that's the part of it. Watching is that to think about it, people are going to think this is a play where it's the dangers of the NFL are going to be on full display because here's something where something gets twisted the wrong way. You're at the bottom of a pile. You're up in the air, and this was a pretty normal tackle up until the point where he collapsed.
Right.
And now, waiting for word on, was it blunt force trauma to his chest from that? Was it something that was pre-existing? Was he already, that's something we don't know, but that's what strikes me on this is that this was not a play that you would normally say, oh yeah, I could see where something serious happened there. And that maybe is the scariest part of all of it, is that it can be a play where it looks pretty innocent until the end of it.
Well, that's it. We just went through several days of NFL collegiate plays of watching big hits and, all the targeting reviews and such that people do their hand-wringing over and watching players get back up and marveling the whole week that was talking about Tua Tagovailoa, right? Everybody going to the Zapruder film of trying to find, as soon as he went to the facilities on Monday and was starting towards going into concussion protocol, it became how do you figure it out? Where's the blow? What's this? And sometimes you just don't know, right? And in this case, we're going to have to wait for folks much more in tune, smarter than us, the doctors, to fill us in on where, as best they can, to fill in those gaps. Because right now it's really just a lot of deep prayer. So if you're a religious person, offer them up. If you're not,
offer them up anyway.
They don't hurt.
Offer them up anyway.
Exactly.
They help. The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon live from the TireRack.com studios. Officially, the game has been postponed, so there will be no more football tonight. Coverage of the story is going to continue on. We'll have another update on Damar Hamlin, hopefully coming up in the next few minutes. More on him, more on his life, as everybody just keeps sending those good thoughts to Cincinnati. Just keep sending them out, Twitter at How About a Fresca, Mike at Swollen Dome, the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Keep it here. This is Fox Sports Radio. TireRack.com loves tires, and since 1979, they've been helping people find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Their team of experts has the knowledge and passion to assist every driver, and they're just a phone call or a click away. The website is packed with information, advice, and tools that make buying the right tires a snap. Like the Tire Decision Guide. Answer a few questions, and you'll get a personalized tire recommendation in 2 minutes or less. They sell only the best brands in the industry, like the high-performance hand-cooked Ventus tire, the all-season Optimo lineup, and the off-road capable hand-cooked Dynapro light truck and SUV tire. Ratings, reviews, test results, and a national network of over 10,000 recommended installers, free road hazard protection, and fast free shipping with delivery in as little as 1 day. In many areas, they even offer mobile tire installation that comes to your home or office. Tire installation on your terms, game changer. I'm telling you, go to TireRack.com/sports and see for yourself. That's TireRack.com/sports. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.